Hey guys, so today I'm going to be creating a pattern drafts for a mermaid dress and eradicating darts completely. You don't want a situation like this where you make the dress so beautiful and then the darts will now mess up. No, we don't. So these are the measurements that we need: waist to hip, waist to hip, waist to floor, waist to knee. And right now I'm just making my reference lines at the top of the pattern paper and at the bottom of my pattern paper. So I am making a mermaid skirt where we do not need that in any way. No front dart, no back dart. Everything is just clean and dope. If you get what I mean. So I already labeled the first line my waistline, and then I measured from my waist to my hip, and I labeled the next line my hip line, and then from my waist to knee I think it was about 22, and then I'm also going to label that my knee line, and then I'm going to go up 2 inches or 3 inches above that, and that will be my mermaid knee line. So for your own measurements, whatever it is that is your waist to knee measurement, just subtract 3 inches and use that as your mermaid knee. That is if you want the knee to be that, like you want the flare to start from high up and not from the bottom. It just depends on where you want it to flare, but I like it to be at the bottom. Now, to calculate our hip measurement or to create our hip allocation to eradicate that, you have to divide your hip measurement by 2, add 1.5 to the back, and subtract 1.5 from the front. So we have 38 divided by 2, 19 plus 1.5, 20.5, then minus 1.5 is 17.5. Now the 17.5 is for the entire front of my dress. So that means I'm going to divide that into 2. Now for my hip measure, for my waist measurement, I'm using 26 inches. I'm going to divide that into 4, so I'm going to take 6.5 inches as the waist measurement. Now for the hip measurement, it's going to be 17.5 divided by 2, and that is going to give us 8.75, I believe. And then at my knee measurement, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hip measurement, I'm going to subtract 6 from it, and then divide it by 4, and that will give me 8 inches. So on my knee measurement, I'm going to measure 8 inches, and then I'm going to connect all the dots. Okay, so using this method, you will see that the slant from the waist to the hip is not as curvy because we subtracted 1.5 from it. It's a very smooth line, and we have sort of like eradicated the need for that in the front. Okay, so after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to show you the other method if I was not using the slash and spread method to make my mermaid skirt. Now, for example, I have 6 inches extra space here. I could just use that 6 inches extra and draw a slanted line, but I'm going to show you what exactly that looks like. So I'm going to measure the waist to knee. The waist to knee is about 40 inches, and I'm going to draw that line as waist to floor. I just said waist to knee. Now if I was going to do it the simpler method, I'm just going to draw a slant line from that knee downward, but I'm not doing that method. I'm doing a slash and spread method. The reason why we're doing this slash and spread method is because we can make it as flare as we want. Like, it's going to be so flare and so nice and so fly and as flare as you want it to be. So if I wanted it to be the regular method, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw that slant, which is just 6 inches from the where my skirt ends, or where the circumference of my knee ends, and then I'm just going to draw that slant, and then I'm going to then curve it up so that the slanted line and my knee to floor line are exactly the same, and then I'm just going to curve it up like that, and I'm going to draw the curve. Now this is the normal method if you don't want your mermaid flare to be too flare. You just want a tiny bit of flare. But we don't want a tiny bit of flare, we want a big flare, and we want to use the slash and spread method so that our flare will be very, very flare. Now to do our slash and spread method, I'm going to measure the entire my knee circumference, and that is 8 inches. I'm going to divide it into 2, and that is 4 inches, and I'm then going to take a straight line from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom, and then that part I labeled as center front so we don't get confused. So you know that you're going to cut the line into 2 like so, and then cut it to the other side of your skirt. I label the center front, so you know that the line is not going toward the center front, it's going towards the other side. Now you see that cut that we did, that's where the flare comes in. You can shift it to any angle that you want to shift it to. It's going to work. You can shift it all, in fact 360 if you like. And then after shifting and opening your slash like that, you place it on another piece of paper and then join the entire thing together. Now this part is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you what the back pattern looks like. So that is where I'm going to show you how to fix in the paper and everything. The front one is pretty self and explanatory, but when I explain the back one, you'll be able to understand the front one a little bit better, if you get what I mean. Now I'm going to just sellotape my skirt together because I want to use this same pattern to create the back pattern of our mermaid skirt. So I'm going to lay my new pattern paper and then put the front pattern on it, and then I'm going to trace it all out. Okay, so I'm trying to remove my reference lines so that I don't confuse you and I don't confuse myself, so that both of us don't confuse each other. I'm removing all my reference line at the top and at the bottom, and then I'm just pasting the pattern paper itself directly on my new paper. Now, one thing you need to note is that if you are making a skirt and it's not like you are joining it to an upper part, like you're not joining to a half length, what you're going to do is just slope it down by 1 inch at that waist so that it can accommodate your stomach very well. But if you are joining it to the upper part, like if you made an half length top and you have to join it to the skirt, you don't have to do that. It's not compulsory for you to do that. But if it is a skirt itself, then you go down by 1 inch and slope it down like that. Now let's talk about the hip measurements for the back. Remember, we added 1.5 to the back, so that is 20.5. Now on that hip measurement, we are going to take our tape rule and measure half of 20.5, which is 10.25, and then that is exactly what we're going to mark on the zip side, not on the hip, not on the hip side or on the side of your skirt, but on the zipper side of your skirt. My paper shifted, so I measured that again. So I just measured the 10.25, and I'm going to join the curve from the top to the curve and then to my knee and all the way down. I clip both of them together so the paper can stop moving and stop disgracing my skills. Imagine such embarrassment. Anyway, I'm joining all my curves together like you're seeing me do, and you see it now, like that part that is there is just creating a nice curve for your bum area. You know, our bum is not flat, it's not straight. God has given us this talent of bum, so we have to make sure that the curve follows the curve of our bum, and that's exactly what we are doing with this hip allocation and getting rid of the darts, and so that the dart doesn't mess up our nice skirt creations. Now I'm tracing all around it as you are seeing me do. I'm tracing the pattern of my front side, the one part that is exactly the same thing on my other pattern paper as for my back pattern, and I'm going to just draw all my lines, my hip, my waist, my knee, and then the floor markings, and I'm trying to make the faint lines look more bold. My marker is already filling on me for some reason. Village people, be warned. All right, so after doing all of that, what we're going to do now is just to add my 1 inch zipper allowance on that side, so I do not forget to put zipper allowance. I know I'm supposed to put it on my fabric itself and not on the pattern, but I know there's a possibility that I can forget, and there's a possibility that you that are watching, that are judging me right now, you can also forget. So let us both respect ourselves and put our 1 inch zipper and joining allowance on the side for our back skirt, and so you will know exactly where the zip is and you don't confuse where the zip is to where your side of your skirt is. Now, just like we did for the front, we're going to go to that down part and then divide it into two. It's still the same 8 inches. You are not starting from the zip allowance, you are just starting from the normal middle. That is 4 inches is the division, and I'm going to draw it all the way up, and then I'm going to also then slash it open just like we did for the back, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I put the paper under and what's our entire slashing and spreading of the back looks like, and what the front is also supposed to look like when we finish doing it. So after cutting my everything out, so the slash and spread for the front I just labeled it. One is the tail. The tail is the one on the zipper side, and the side is the one that is going to join the side for the front pieces. Now for the back, we are going to slash the two sides. We're not just going to slash one side like we did for the front. We are slashing two sides because we want a tail for the back. But if you don't want a tail for the back and you just want the flares on the side, you don't have to slash out the tail. You can just leave it like the front. But if you want a tail, you want the tail to be longer than the side, and you want it to have that nice like bridesmaid looking style, then you just slash both sides like I did. And you see that I'm trying to show you what it looks like for at the front and what it looks like at the back, and for the front, the middle panel is just straight. It's only the side I slashed. But for the back, the tail is also slashed on the side. It is not straight because we want to create a tail or a flare at the back also. Now let us introduce our paper so you can see exactly what it looks like. So I have put my paper. Now you see I just put a nice paper under it, and I'm just going to slash and spread. I'm going to spread my slashed paper and spread it as much as I can spread it. If my paper was wider than this, I'll probably spread it even more than that. So I'm spreading my tail out because I want my tail part to be very, very flare. So I spread it out like this, and I have to pin it together so that it doesn't keep shifting or moving on me and spoiling the other things that we are doing. So on the tail part, I'm making it longer than the side, so I added extra 9-10 inches. You can add as much as you want, like it is your clothes. If you like, put 20 inches is your business, like nobody will hold you. But I only added 9 inches for the tail, and then I'm going to join it from the tail to the other side of my slashed paper. Some part of it is cut off right now, but I think I shifted it a little bit so you can see it later on. But from the tail, the extra 9 inches I added at the tail region, I just drew a nice curve. You see now I'm moving my paper, means if I have small sense. So I just drew a nice curve all to the other side of my skirt, and I'm just tracing out all the skinny, and I'm then going to sellotape everything down and cut out my pattern piece for the back. Now you can cut the your back pattern on your fabric first, and then use the same paper to cut your front fabric, because we are trying to manage this paper. It's not as if paper is growing on tree, even though it's literally growing on trees, but still we are trying to manage our paper. So you can first of all cut your back pattern first on your fabric, then use the same paper that is underneath to cut your front pattern, and then sellotape it the way I did the back, and then cut out that pattern on your fabric. Thank you so very much for watching my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Bye.